Good Tuesday morning, everybody. My name is Noah. I'm one of the educators with Shortcuts, and today's classroom session is going to be the advanced portion of the Cloud Appointment Book. So this is a continuation of a session we had seen a few weeks prior. So if you are new to the Cloud Appointment Book, if you don't know how to set it up or how to access it, be sure to check our YouTube channel at Shortcuts USA, Shortcuts North America, and we have the basics class on how to access it, how to log in from the console or from the site directly. So, as with previous classroom sessions, we do have some things that we're going to go over. We are recording this session. It's going to be about 30 minutes, give or take. My microphone is on, everybody else is muted. And if you have to leave the presentation early, that's fine. We are going to send a copy of this recording to everybody that signed up. Now, if you're watching this video after the fact and you have any questions, we will have our contact information at the end. So you can always reach out to us on our webpage or via email at our customer line or at our education line. And you can also reach out to us on social media. So we do check our Facebook, we do check our Instagram. So if you have any questions on this presentation or any questions in general, do let us know. So the focus of today. Now, in the Shortcuts Cloud, you actually have a way to administrate a number of things for your business. So normally you would access the cloud to check the appointment book, to make an appointment, to see customer details, to update that information, to perform an upsell, add a product, for example, to the ticket. So those are the normal features that you would use in the cloud. But the Shortcuts Cloud also has a number of advanced things. You do have access to several reports in the cloud. Not only that, you can assign reports to specific employees and actually set targets for them. So we're going to discuss that today. You also have the ability to modify the permissions that your staff has whenever they access the cloud. So let's say you only want the staff to see their own appointments, not anybody else's, or you want to give them permission to make appointments, you can actually modify those rules. Plus, we're going to talk about where do you go when you want to run the reports, when you want to see the targets for either the business or your staff. So let's get into it. So getting to the cloud. So this is sort of a follow-up on what we covered the first time around. You can access the cloud in a couple of ways. If you use the Shortcuts console, this is normally the place where you set up the rules for online booking for your business. So this is where you would originally give a staff member an account, for example, say how many days in advance a customer is allowed to make an online appointment, things like that. On the console, there is a button that says Shortcuts Cloud, and this will take you to the cloud page. Or you can bookmark the actual cloud, and the address for that starts with point of sale, pos.shortcutsoftware.com, and then you should have a slash in your actual site identifier. So that's usually a number. So this is something that once you press the cloud button, you can bookmark on your web browser. And again, this could be on your home computer, this could be on your phone, whatever the case is. So when it comes to creating employee access, once you are logged into the cloud, you're going to go to Menu, Employees and Rosters, choose the employee, and you are going to have a list of everybody that's in your point of sale. At the bottom of the screen, once you select a staff member, there's a button that says Roles and Login. Now, you do need the email for the staff member that you would like to give permission to. So if you're going to give your staff cloud access, make sure to round up their emails. So you're going to use the username and the email. Those should be identical. And then at the bottom, there are two default roles in the cloud. You're either an employee or you're a site manager. Now, most of the people sitting in on this presentation are usually the administrators. You're the site managers. But for the staff, usually you only want to give them employee access, which is really the ability to access the appointment book and make appointments for themselves. They don't have the ability to configure any settings in the cloud, to look at the business details, to look at the reports, or even to use the marketing portions unless you customize their access. So once you click the checkbox and say, this person is going to be an employee, and you change the login access to yes, then when you press done, Shortcuts will say, okay, I'm going to send an email to this staff member with their username, their password, and now they can access the cloud. And again, they can bring up the cloud on their phone or their home computer if they want. So they have their own login details. So let's actually go through these steps. So I'm going to jump out of the presentation for just a second. And there we go. So I'm going to go to the web. So I'm on my cloud page, and up at the top, I'm going to menu, employees and schedules. Now, if I'm going to give one of my staff members access to the cloud, I'll go employees and schedules and choose the employees button. So on the left side, I see the staff of everybody that is at my business. So if I wanted to give Lindsay a login, I would choose Lindsay's name. And at the bottom of the screen, there's a roles and login button. I'll press it. It looks like a little sheriff's badge. And here is where I can choose the roles. So the username in this case would be Lindsay at Angel Salon. So that's my testsalon.com. So that becomes the email that I use. So the username and email should be the same. Lindsay at angelsalon.com. And then I choose which level. Now you actually see 3 levels here. I created a custom level, and I'm going to discuss that in a moment. Normally you only have 2 access levels, employee or site manager. If I want to give Lindsay only the employee level, I'll click the checkbox, and up at the top where the slider says login access, no or yes. So if I switch this to yes, and I press the done button, then Shortcuts will send an email to Lindsay to say, this is your username, this is your password. And just like that, I've given her access. Pretty easy, right? So let's go back to the presentation. So those are the steps to give somebody an account. But now let's say, okay, well, what exactly can an employee see and do? Or what happens if I want to change what they can see and do? So you do have that ability. So you can change the employee access by going to the menu and into your general settings. And there's a button for roles. Again, that sheriff's badge. Once you're in roles, Shortcuts will show you, okay, these are your existing roles. Which one do you want to change? So I would choose employees, and then I would click on the word that says permissions. And then I have slider bars that I can say to yes or no on every different category in the cloud. What can the employees see and do? Yes, they can see the appointment book. No, they can't see the appointment book. Yes, they can see other people's appointments, or no, they cannot. So you get to choose and modify all of the employee settings. You also have the ability to create a custom role. So that's what I did by creating the assistant manager role. I wanted my employees only to be able to look at their own appointments, and that's it. But I wanted my assistant manager to actually be able to look at everybody's appointments, move them around, have more flexibility. So I created a custom role for that person. So if you want to create a custom role, let's say for your front desk, for your assistant manager, whoever that person is, you can actually press the new button at the bottom of the role setup screen. You can give it a name, call it whatever role you'd like, and then go through the permission list and customize the yes or no settings for that particular level. And then you can even choose which employees should have that role. Now, just like I did a moment ago, we're going to have a live demo. So again, we're going to jump out of the presentation and go right back to the cloud. So I've already given Lindsay access, but I decide I want to change what employees can see. So anybody that has the employee level, I want to modify their permissions. So I'll return to the menu button on the top left corner, but I'll go to General Settings. There's that sheriff star, Roles. And on the left side, Again, normally you only have two options, employee or site manager. So I'm choosing employee, and on the right side, I'm selecting that salmon colored word that says permissions. Once I do that, Shortcuts shows me the list of all the different settings I can adjust. So I'll go to the appointment book. And you can see here are the tiles. I can view my appointments, yes. I can create my appointments, yes. I can update my appointments, yes. And I can delete my appointments. So my employees have all the basic permissions. They can make appointments, move appointments, and delete them. The next group, can they create tasks? Yes or no? So these are things to put in the books. Do they want to put in their lunch task, for example? Or do they want to put in the time that you've assigned as a task for account doing an inventory? Things like that. Can they create them and update the task or delete the task? Can they configure text templates? If your business uses SMS confirmations or SMS texting for the clients, can the staff actually create their own custom templates? So can they also modify filters? So you can simply select the slider and say yes or no, they have permission to do these things. In this case, I will give the staff permission to change and update tasks because I want them to be able to put in the times that they're going to be out on lunch right on the books for themselves. Now, should they have any permissions for configuration? Probably not. I don't want my employees changing any settings. Usually that would apply for general, but general is where we set the master switch. Sort of, I can access the site, yes or no. I can access the site with my view permissions outside of my scheduled hours. So if we want a staff member to be able to just look at their books on their day off, we should set it to yes. Now, I can access the site with my normal permissions. That is, can they make appointments and move appointments on a day or time they're not scheduled to work? I might want to say yes. So as you can see, you can modify all of the particular levels for a staff member. Once you're happy with that, you would press Done on the bottom right. Now, if you decide, okay, I've set the permissions for my employees, but I have an assistant manager or I have a receptionist, and they should have more visibility, more permissions. This is when you would press the New button at the bottom of the screen and create a new level. Now, I've already pressed New, and I've created a level called Assistant Manager. So if I go to the permissions for Assistant Manager, now my Assistant Manager, I want to have them be able to set up customers, to do searches for customers, to view the notes, view the histories, create things. So I'm going to give them more permissions to access customer details than just the regular employees. But what else can they do? They can set up employees, they can view their own schedule. Yes, absolutely. Can they view the schedules of others? Yes. Can I assign roles and logins? Yes, my assistant manager can actually add permissions for other people. Now, can they configure business targets or employee targets? Probably not. I want to reserve that for myself. But for my own custom level, I would then just go through this and set the permissions exactly how I want them to be. And any person that I assign to have these permissions will now have access to it. So I'll press Done, and now I've updated my assistant manager permissions. So just like that, you have 2 permission levels by default, and you can create as many custom levels as you want and assign it to an employee or any staff member. So back to the presentation. So access and security, very easy to perform in the cloud. But now the big one, you want to start setting targets for your staff members. So you want to have a goal in mind for them, whether it's service, whether it's retail, whatever the case is. So how do you come up with those numbers? One of the things you can do is use the Shortcuts scorecard. This is in the console. This is where Shortcuts ranks you on key performance indicators, so you know how you did from a month-to-month basis. Now, I know right now things are not exactly normal because of the pandemics, because of closures, openings, and closures again. Your numbers are going to be completely off from where they normally are. But once your business starts to pick up speed again, you'll want to reference the scorecard to see how your business is performing from month to month and even year to year. So if you're looking at yourself against industry goals, now the industry averages are represented by a white line, which rises and falls depending on the season. So either you're at the industry levels, so your numbers, your bar graph is where the white line is, or it's above or below. If you're below the industry averages on a certain thing, such as your retail, maybe your staff really isn't adding any products to their tickets and you want to increase that, then you'll know approximately how far below your goal should be. Is it $100? Is it $1,000? Whatever that is. So use your scorecard to try to get a sense of where your business is and where your target should be. Now, to actually access the targets, to create targets for your staff, again, from the console, you go to the cloud. And once you're in the cloud, you go to menus, employees and schedules, and choose the target setup button. It actually looks like a target on it. And once you're there, you can actually set a weekly target for every staff members. Now, these targets aren't a massive library of things. They're all the 6 most important key performance indicators, such as net sales, service sales, retails, rebooking percentage, and the average dollar per ticket and customer visits. So if you tell your staff member something abstract like, your retail numbers are a little bit low, I'd like you to try to do 5% more this month or this week. The staff member doesn't quite grasp what is 5%. But if instead you tell them, can I get you to sell $200 more this week on retail? Then they understand that. They know that perhaps every other customer, there's a bottle of conditioner, a bottle of shampoo they might recommend that will get them to that goal. So once you've set your goals for your staff members, you can also set it for your business. Again, on those 6 key performance indicators. Then when you're ready to look at your targets, you would go to Menu and Reports and Targets. So the Targets dashboard will actually show you, was your staff on track with your averages? Were they above? Were they below? Were they on goal exactly? And you can analyze this week, the last week, or even the last 2 weeks worth of information. Not only that, if you're a multiple site chain, you can actually look at which site you want to look at. And you can even focus on a specific staff member. So you have that flexibility. And for your staff, you can give your staff permission to look at their own targets. So they don't see the business numbers, they don't see any of their coworkers' numbers. They only see the target that you gave them and whether or not they're hitting their goals. So let's actually review these steps. So we're going to, again, get out of the presentation. We're going to jump into the cloud. So to access the targets, again, if you're creating a target, you want to go to your console page and actually look at your scorecard. So the scorecard will aggregate how you've been performing for the last month, the previous month. So not only will it show you how you did the month before, it'll show you how you're trending against the industry averages and against yourself from year to year. Once you know where your business falls, then in the cloud, you'll go to Employees and Schedules, Target Setup. And on the left side, I set goals for each individual staff member. So I'll choose their name. I'll go to their column. So what are their goals for this week? And then I would set them for every customer. So of course we always want to get 50% booking each day and however many customers that I expect them to see every week. So you would set your numbers for each staff member and press done. So that's target setup. And again, you can set a goal for your business. Now, when you're ready to look at your targets, are you on target, above, or below? You can go to Menu and Reports. So in this case, targets will load a dashboard that shows me for my staff, for everybody on staff, am I above or below my goal? Now, this is a test salon and there are no transactions, so unfortunately, I'm 100% below what my target should be. But if I were to go back maybe to the month prior or the previous 2 weeks, I have some sales data that I had been practicing with. So it rises and falls. And it shows me, am I, again, hitting my goals? Am I above or below? And I can choose which site on the top center of the screen I want to look at. Is it my first test salon or second test salon? Do I want to look at just one person specifically? Is Billie Jean hitting her goals? So this is all very flexible. It's very easy to set up your goals, very easy to access the reports. And again, if the staff has permission to access targets, they only see their own numbers. Okay, so let's go back to the presentation. And here we are. So that covers all of the advanced features of the cloud. You should now know how to give your staff members access and customize their roles. You should also know how to create a custom role for any particular employee. Plus, if you want to set goals for them, targets for them, how to access that, how to find the information that you're looking for, your key performance data, and how to set that up in the cloud. Plus, how to access the reports to actually look at your goals. So this is the part where we open up the floor for questions. Oh, actually, we are running a promotion this month. So during the month of May, if you have an old credit card processor or you're shopping around for a better credit card processor, I want to recommend Global Payments. So we can integrate with Global Payments, and this month, if you sign up with them, you actually get a free terminal. So they integrate with Shortcuts. They'll, of course, accept debit, credit. They'll do the contactless tap payments like Apple Pay. And of course, all of that will help with your reconciliation, your transactions, when you're doing your end of day information. So they're one of our probably greatest partners to work with. They have awesome support if anything should happen. So do contact our customer support line. Let us know if you're interested in upgrading. Also, with the addition of global payments and the version of Shortcuts, the newest version of Shortcuts 8.1, we've actually upped our security settings and we are offering remote connection again. So with a more secure system, more secure credit card machine, we also have a secure remote connection solution. So if you are interested in that, let our customer care line know. We'll get you signed up with GPI. We'll, of course, get you updated on Shortcuts if you're running an older build, especially if you're not using the cloud. Let us know. So if you haven't updated in a while, if you don't have targets, if you're on one of the old tier packages and it's time to upgrade, let our customer care team know. There's our number. Remember, it's option 2. If you go to option 1, you go to the help desk. Or send us an email, customercareusa@shortcuts.net. Plus, we also check our social media. So even if you have the question like, I'm looking at new credit cards and you ask us on Instagram or Facebook, we will get back to you. So now we're going to open up the floor for questions. So if anybody has a question today, let me know. And I think one of the salons just joined a little bit late, and that's fine. So remember, if you're watching this video after the fact and you have any questions, you can still reach out to our customer care. You can still reach out to education and let us know, and we will get back to you. So again, here's our contact information. You can visit us on Facebook at Shortcuts USA. So thank you all for attending today. I look forward to seeing you on the next classroom session. And if you have any questions, let us know. Thank you.